Hello, everybody. Bashman here, back with another video in the series of Do You Suck at Writing? Let me fix that. For those who aren't aware, this is a series where I'm chronologuing my journey and trying to publish a web novel. And, well, I'm using it as an experience for me and, more importantly, for all y'all lovely people to potentially learn. See what I did right, see what I did wrong. The end goal of the series is, of course, for me to have a fully published web novel, or at least get it into publication. Doesn't have to be finished or whatnot. Just want to get it started up and consistently updated. But I would also like to use this as a learning period for all of us who might be tuning in. Because again, I understand the struggle of trying to pump out a creative work, let alone a novel. And it can be rough starting out. Obviously, I think people are definitely capable of doing so. It just requires a lot of effort. Mm. We didn't continue too far from the last time. Actually, no, I don't think we continued at all afterwards. I'll be honest, I've been a little bit lazy. I've not been prioritizing writing with everything going on in my day to day. Finals are coming up. I have my AP exams to get done, so I do apologize for the lack of videos. I very much do want to change that. It's just been very hard prioritizing doing this with all my studies and whatever miscellaneous life tasks that I do desire. But anyways, without any more preamble, I think we wanna jump right into this. Mm. So characterization haven't hasn't changed too much. Honestly, there has been a bit of a lack. The general outline of the story or what I've written down so far is pretty I say it's lacking a little bit still. I don't think we have a clear defined goal in mind. But we can always build upon that. There's still a lot of creative ideas I'm not quite sure of how I want to tackle, or in what things exactly I want to kind of put into play for this particular story. So, of course, as always, I find it very, very, very valuable to have a reference sheet just to get a general idea of what you want to do. And of course, you have pretty much this fundamental story outline that we want to follow. Not fundamental, but the story outline that we use for the convenience of our writing purposes. So I was contemplating if I want to read this out for you guys. I'll just leave it up for here while I ramble on a little bit more. Hmm. General gist is some massive thriller, or not thriller, action packed adventure and whatnot. That's pretty much the base. I know it's very, very bare bones without describing any of the fundamentals, which don't exist at the moment, but that's why we're here. We're here to learn. We're here to be able to construct and build upon these things a lot easier. Essentially, just um, advance from an amateur into a novice. Okay, I think we're gonna mainly stick to a first-person perspective. I feel as if that will be the most. I think that would be the most smooth execution I could do for a potential novel of this caliber. Anyways, sorry, I keep on rambling on. I'll be honest, ah no, okay, no. We gotta shove all that inhibition down. Anyways, okay. Um Pickle Friday, yep, pull my from my brain. Gather friends work where I use the stories using myself to present a my way out of my humble apartment. While I do regret that I think my bill for marking out on my commute. That small dismay has nothing compared to the brash lecture I would suffer in this rush hour. Oh, then again. Eh, I'm thinking about changing this line 'cause I think it seems a bit too. I don't know. I suppose if this is a first person perspective, having the MC's account of things, maybe I'll add something in it a little bit because it feels a bit lackluster. So, I'm trying to see what I could add on to, I suppose, characterize her a bit more. I give a bit of background because I feel like just stating like, oh yeah, brash lecture if I miss this point. She's a woman that's equally as kind as she is fierce. Fortunately, I was able to arrive at the shop before the morning rush, saving my hide from swallowing. I don't know. It's also putting out as let's see. I don't know. I don't know if I want to write a linear story. Anyway, I feel like I'm getting in the way of my storytelling or writing or whatever you'd like to categorize that. Like just my inhibitions. I feel like I'm a little bit scared to write about certain things just in the off chance that people might not like it. But obviously that's not a good way to write. At the end of the day, you're writing the novel for yourself first and foremost. If people like it, then that's awesome. That's awesome byproduct of your fruits. But the labor that we put, we're only really entitled to our labors. There's no guarantee that we'll see the fruits of those labors. So I feel like finding enjoyment in the actual writing process or the actual writing of your story is like almost 10 times more substantial than the rewards that you would otherwise get for publishing a story and getting that traction from external means. I know it's a bit cheesy to say, but it all really lies within. This is a craft that most definitely is the most satisfactory for the writer themselves. Obviously, it's fine, respecting works and whatnot. As a longtime reader, I can most definitely understand that sentiment of enjoying, the works. Even sometimes surpassing like my joy of actually writing. I don't know. It's just very, very awe-striking how much what you can portray in a story and what narratives exactly. It's all about making you think. Stories are most definitely, first and foremost to, entertain you by telling a tale. But I think the, secondary and even, arguably more important factor is that they really make you think about, certain things. It can really change the way you are. I can really change your outlook on life. And I think that's a very, very valuable thing, giving more perspective and being able to incorporate into that, incorporate that your life, or even just have it just think about it. I feel like knowledge is a very, very almost gatekept thing. I feel, or no, it's not, knowledge is not very uniform to come by, and it's very unfortunate that is the case because knowledge, is one of your greatest assets if used correctly. I think action is a bit more important, but knowledge helps you, decide where exactly you place that action, and that's very important. I stated before. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting the bill. Let's see. Save my hyphen. Scrolling. I don't think I should use it to describe the cafe. I think, you know, I feel like if I'm doing a first person perspective in particular, I don't think it's the best. I think I'm just gonna start first person and then alternate depending on how exactly what angle I want to tell the story exactly. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Hold on. I was able to arrive at the shop before morning rush. Even my hand. I use I use the extra few minutes given to me to. It's like Buffy. Buffy. We got pastries. We got brews. We got other types of beverages. I'm not sure. Uh, the extra few minutes given to me preparing. Oh, I do. I do preparing. I think I can. I have to use the first chapters to help characterize the MC a little bit more. So I think I'm just gonna do something. I think creating something is a very very common enjoyment. Like I think baking in particular, um, is very very nice. I know it's not the action thriller that we like to think, but I kind of like the calm before the storm story. I kind of like setting up the like a beautiful place before shit all goes and hits the fan. So, oh, got my water bottle. Mm. Preparing you myself for I use extra few minutes again. Preparing myself for the long day ahead. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I completely forgot that was actually recording. Oh my goodness, I blinked out for a second. Um, oh, where was I talking? Oh yeah, characterization. I think small little personal what would you want to call these? Personal quips? I feel like could help build upon the MC. Okay, so I'm not really a good storyteller. I'm a decent writer. I still have a long way to go till I'm a decent storyteller. Um, Making some pastries and ways on the shop. Was apprehensive. Here, actually, I'm sorry. I'm gonna just so I don't drag out these videos to an unfathomably long amount of time. I'm gonna like set myself a little bit of sorry. I thought I felt a little timer. I think like every 50 minutes. It's more just like a self-organizational thing. It's not 1 hour. I don't think it's enough for most people, but I think it helps me follow get the foundation of what I want to write about. I know. I understand that like my very early chapters are not going to be like polarizing. Are going to be like significantly different from what I have in stock later down the line. Um, I gotta get that down. I don't know. At the end of the day, I feel like nobody, humanity is a very, very important aspect to the story writing process or storytelling process. You don't want your MCs or your characters in general to, feel robotic or one-dimensional or something like that. Humans are very, very complex creatures by nature, and I don't think it's a wrong thing trying to encapsulate that in story format. Obviously, it's very hard to expect a writer to be able to encapsulate every singular nuance when it comes to a person and how they act. But you can damn well try. I think that's the most important part. As long as an effort is given or is taken to try to encapsulate that. Oh well. Is that around the longest time? Hmm. I don't know if I'm telling my or showing my characterizing, I guess. Anyway, no, let's just completely throw it out the window. I can always, correct myself if need be later down the line. Like I said, this is a learning process first and foremost. I know I keep on reiterating that, but I think it is very, very paramount to instill that understanding into this. It's fine to not have like a absolutely awe-striking final product. All right, off the bat. It's fine if you fail. It's fine if you write something that you're not particularly proud of and you need to go change the future. That's kind of the whole thing. I feel like failure is so it's polarized to the point where people look at it as like a death sentence, like a constant guillotine hanging over their head. And it's fine. I mean, no, it's not fine. It's not fine that's the case. People should really like understand that failure is a very, very natural process of, you know, the human experience. It is very important to not get distraught over a small little hiccup in your journey because, you know, very seldom do failures lead to uh, irreparable damage to, whatever connected field that it is a part of. And I don't think it should really be shamed, because people are prone to make mistakes. Humans are very prone to making decisions that end up, detrimental in one way or another, and that's okay. What I'm getting at is like, you know, obviously this is probably not going to be the final product. If anything, I just want to kind of use this to out practice. Anyways, I can see I did. Maybe let's see. Mm. Sorry, I know I'm not being a very big of a personality right now. I think I don't know, I've had kind of an itch just to kind of want to write, and I guess, you know, recording. Mm. Never mind. Sorry. I'm kind of putting most of my energy into the writing process rather than being a bit of an entertainer, so I do apologize for that. I know, people would people do prefer like a experience that isn't, yeah, boring. And I'd argue that this is a bit more just like a haha, all right, we're going on. We're balling here. Um, anyways, I'm gonna end my goal. Let's just I'll try to be a bit more quippy and whatnot. Try to commentate a bit more. Uh, every now and then. Pretty much, I'm just setting up a carrot of MCs. I suppose our first like peer into the MC's values or the motivations or something like just getting to know the character better. Oh. Hmm. This is where I kind of rip myself into a bit of a pickle here because if I'm characterizing as Miss Liza as fierce, then what I've kind of set up beforehand about her like getting on the MC's case for not arriving or before the time would kind of imply that she's already there. She'd be a busybody. It would be like a false impression, and not very applicable to the situation. So maybe I just add in something. Yeah, I think I'll just add on to the sentence and then, build upon it there. In my way into how do you describe a baking kitchen? I've never been inside like a baker's quarters, so I suppose it would be wise for me to like look up a reference image. But I'm gonna wing it because I'm lazy. Kitchen way back. I made my way back into the kitchen. Really into the spacious kitchen. Where's cafe? I want to repeat the cafe. Hmm. I made my way into the spacious. Yeah, I think I'm gonna repeat cafe actually. Kitchen of the Café Italian or something like that. I don't know. Atelier. I know Italian. Italier. I don't know its origins, but it just sounds so cool. I think it's Italian. I know. Very honest. Cafe. The tall. Don't ever describe it as fragrant. Hang on. Mm. Expansive and uniform room gleamed with the unalloyed of silver. It's a kitchenette. What is a kitchenette actually? Man, never mind. Oh, excuse me. Unalloyed sheen of silver. The expansive uniform room gleamed in the unalloyed sheen of silver. Cookwares? Being contrasted. The many. Oh, what? God, I'm gonna continue this. Oh goodness. I'm sorry. The many cookwares being used. Wait, no. Opaque is like dimmed color. Woman using one of the many tables there to read. I used the wrong there. Need. Oh, sorry. Let's read it over. I don't like cheating. Oh, a little bit. I'm not running rusty. My head from school now. I made my way to the back of the basement kitchen of the cafe. The expansive and uniform room gleamed with the unalloyed sheen of silver. The many cookwares greatly contrasted the woman using one of the many tables in there to knead dough, like it was an unperfected masterpiece. There she was, my wonderful aunt. Ooh, yeah. Hmm. I swear this isn't it. Okay, so I was gonna say some out of pocket stuff. Oh, yeah. Her tied up in a uniform ponytail. Tied in a uniform. Say bun. I like a bun. A tied in a uniform bun. Her lengthy auburn hair was tied in a uniform bun. Her very, what do you call it? Like beautiful? Beautiful kind of basic. Art like, art like? I don't know. Art like face. Hmm. Ah, la, lo, lo. Accenting her very art-like face. It's not much of a character description. I think the body type. Ah, whatever. I don't fucking care. Oh wait, sorry, language. Or like build. I'm just gonna say build. It make it easier for me driving this. I quickly exchange greetings with her. Rather than encouraging fire with me down, and I concede it does make me have phase reading exceptional. Yeah, via Andros can make a man quite jovial. But there you go. I think I patched up my main. Wait, wait, did I? There she was. Already hard at work. Swear this isn't an incest story. I promise that on my being. Ugh. Okay. Yep, her lengthy auburn hair was tied in a uniform bun, accenting her very art-like build. I quickly exchanged greetings with her and used the extra few minutes uh, given to me to prepare myself for the long day ahead. I didn't know that she did go out. Yeah. And that time must wait. Still most comfortable working. Register. Okay. Okay, this isn't too bad so far. I'm just setting up the basis. Like I said, I don't I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with the way that I'm structuring my story and how exactly I'm writing it. Uh, I feel like the biggest issue I'm running into is the confidence when trying to write. I feel like trying to set up things in a certain way and then, looking how they come out and not being, particularly excited or not excited, sorry, being content with how they turned out is a really good way to it really starts messing with your head, or you try to fuzzing up your perception of whatever it might be that you're trying to write. Sorry, here, let me put it like this. Say you try to write and then actively, fix the mistakes you're going at. You're putting a lot of mental energy into fixing that tiny little modecon of the story compared to continuing on and trying to match the flow of what you've already written. Now, obviously, rewriting isn't a bad thing. However, if it gets in the way of your actual momentous writing, then it definitely can be a problem. And that's why I'm only worrying a little bit about, actually rewriting. I think it's very much important. Essentially take this as a learning example. Just keep on writing. You can always go back and rewrite things later if you don't like the way that they turn out. Yes. Wait, come for working at the register. And I gladly. Uh, I'll gladly do it like I have every other day. Okay. How long is this? Can I go for a word count? 737. Okay. It's not bad. I think I want to continue on this chapter though. I want to make it, I don't know, maybe at least 1,000. I do like those a bit more lengthy chapters. Just to set things up, especially if I'm start reading it first, starting to read a novel. I do like them a little bit longer, unless you can start the momentum a bit early. But considering how I'm setting things up, I don't think that's going to be likely. So I'm just going to continue on the one chapter and then move on to the next one, however it may turn out. Let's see. Gladly I'll do it. Not so long after. And I think later, closer to closing time. Walked in, and then another, another after. Ah. Many people own unique drinks. Some ordered your standard black coffees, coffees, some lattes, some ordered some lattes, not specialties, the menu notes. We can barely keep the different drinks, flavors that appeared through the coffee. How do I spell coffee again? Oh God. through the coffees and and people like I was in my own realm of symphony. I spelled phony wrong. I'm starting to feel like one. Anyways, symphony is listening to the natural melody of the people in the cafe. Cafe. Cafe d'Oran. In the cafe. In the Baroness. Time flew by fast. Um, before. Alright, what's word count now? 828. It's not bad. We're actually making really good progress. A lot more than I thought. Like I said, I really do enjoy the writing process. Just I suppose sometimes I get very muddled down by the expectations that I set on myself for trying to write, which realistically, okay, it's not bad to have high expectations on yourself by no means. It helps you put you further, it helps you strive for more and whatnot. It acts as your own, what's it called? Innate motivator, which is nice. But if you end up getting crushed under your own weight of your expectations, then well, it ends up being you know, quite the harrowing force. I'm really enjoying writing this particular section. I don't know, it's just I don't know, very serene. Let's see. Let's see. Until The final customer role in or well, in the late evening to be more precise. Hmm. Word count 876. Eliza, what's something of equal class? Eliza. I'm just pulling names straight from the mystery box, Loki. I'm not sure. Do I keep it Eliza, Uncle? Let's go with Wolfgang, Uncle Wolfgang. Do I like Wolfgang? Eliza, Wolfgang, Lolan. I like Roland better. Rolando. Mm, and the family, so to speak. He acted. I think well, no, I'm probably gonna exceed 1,000 words. Then again, I'm not really going for word. I don't want my chapter to be very bare bones, especially if I don't know. I feel like that's one things in my one of my previous writing projects I wasn't particularly happy about. My chapters were so short comparatively. I really do like I quote unquote longer chapters. You know, at least 1,000 words. It doesn't have to be like that. Like obviously, if you're able to portray whatever narrative or whatever you need to progress the story forward in less amount of words, then go for it. It's purely like a preferential thing. I really do like just like the longer chapters I can sit down and kind of like dump everything. Go, Liza. Um, I was gonna think to fit the tale of Orlando a bit better, maybe change Eliza's name to Angelica. Uh, and then again, I don't know. I feel like I've well, we'll think about it later. I don't know. I'd actually go read the myth again to see if it would fit in stories, tones, and whatnot. Oh, I know character dialogue is something that definitely it troubles me a little bit trying to articulate because I feel like I haven't found a style to just I don't know get comfortable with it. I like the way that Classroom of the Elite does it to where it's just kind of like it feels like a fluid continuation from the narration of Aina Koji. I just I have to go reread it to see how exactly I'd implemented my own story, but it's something to take into consideration. Anyways, oh, I'll probably try here actually. So let's see, Auntie. Let's see. Um, I want to continue this from oh. CEO's last customer of the day, 9 times out of 10. No, I like the shop usually gets uh, time and Sounding, I do. I'm LARPing brands. All right. Oh, we're almost running up on our preferred allotted time. So I think I'll spend these last 2 minutes just was like crystallizing my thoughts. So pretty much just setting a picture of, I suppose, the daily life that our MC is going through. I kind of left his name out of the picture. I feel like having that occur through dialogue would be a bit more fitting than just saying like I am blank 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 so and so. I feel like that's a bit more compelling. It feels, you know, I don't know. I like setting the stage and then building upon us, if that makes sense. It's like multiple stages of architecture. You use the foundation to then build up something a lot more sturdy. I don't think it's too uninteresting. I'm gonna go back and read it. Again, of course, this isn't the end of chapter one. Just I this is where I'm kind of just holding off a little bit to just catch a breather. Just setting up everything. Yeah, so we have the, I suppose, call to action, so to speak. The slice of life, just daily life, what's going on, obligations as what should I call it? As a normal human being. Close up shop and then some family bonding between the two. Obviously, I'm trying to write Roland and Eliza's, I suppose, the surrogate family members or paternal figures in the MC's life. It may seem very mundane, but I can assure you that is most definitely for a reason that hopefully will become clear, like relatively soon. I honestly like to keep it a little bit of a, I suppose, a mystery, or not maybe a mystery, but like maybe something that just I don't know plays or has some very very significant, substantial, like emotional weight behind it later down the line. I'm very much just I'm working on foundationals right now, and it's I think it's very important, at least for me personally. I can attribute that for me personally. It is very important for me to have just a base general lineup or a base outline for me to work off of. Once I have the framework, once you have everything set and squared at the start, then you can really start gaining that motion, which is something that I particularly need help with. I know that's very vague. I'm not. I'm a bit of a bum of a teacher because I understand exactly what I need to do. But uh, hopefully that's something that I can, build upon later down the line. I hope the observations into my writing are, beneficial enough. But anyways, I think that's where we're gonna call it today for today's video. Perhaps I may or may not load up another one depending on how I'm feeling today to continue on. Because this could very much be a split episode. I can most definitely see that being the case. There's just a lot of content to cover and go forth in the first chapter. In the first few subsequent chapters actually. This one just is very very slice of life, very slow paced, and very much setting the pace for things. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this, or at least gained something from watching it. I know these aren't like these long educational videos are very, very, you know, unentertaining. Usually I try to make these a bit more fun just for people to watch generally or have on in the background while they're doing whatever they may be doing. I feel like the commentary aspect is a lot more important than I don't know. I'd argue that it's a little bit more important than, actually storytelling aspects I'm trying to portray. Or at least in the sense that if I don't have good commentary on the video, then, it's very hard for people to get into the video and actually try to learn because, I get it. I'm a youngin in this generation. I can understand you not wanting to watch long form content because of how tedious it can feel to watch. Or even sometimes how boring, the administrator of the information could potentially come off as. So I try to make these videos a bit more entertaining through my commentary, and I think I did a pretty good job in the first two episodes. This one is definitely a lot more lackluster, but it will serve its purpose. Anyways, I hope you all enjoy this video, and we might get a double upload today. Anyways, bye bye.